It's finals softball at Diamond Sports South Australia here on beautiful Ghana land. And it's a clash between the two teams that played in the last three grand finals. It's Port Adelaide versus West Torrens. Only one of those teams will be able to advance. For the other, their season will come to an end. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching. My name's Eric Ballner. I'm joined by two expert commentators for the game today. We've got the coach of the Glenelg Rebels, Nat Brinkworth, and we've got Courtney Hokinson, the catcher for the Hills Heat. Now, we'll start with you, Nat. Well, taking a look at this game here, we've got Steph Trzynski on the mound. Now, Steph, she's been a little bit hobbled as of late. She hasn't had a healthy game in, almost 3-4 weeks now. What can we kind of expect, do you think, from Steph Trzynski, a former calf coral medalist, tonight?
So Steph's a definite competitor. I've coached her in many state campaigns as a junior. She was always injured leading into those campaigns and always performed really well during that time. So she comes to play no matter what happens before the lead up. So she'll be out there to win.
She's one of the best to ever do it in South Australia in this circle. She's won premierships and she's had great numbers this year. Courtney, Port Adelaide, they're a feisty team. They've scored a lot of runs this year. When you look at Port Adelaide and when you've played them, what is their biggest strength, do you think?
Yeah, they are an offensive powerhouse. They know how to get on base, they know how to take extra bases, and it's really hard to prevent them from scoring runs.
It should be a great showdown. One of the best pitchers we've ever seen do it here in South Australia, and Steph Trzynski going head-to-head with her West Torrens Eagles against the best offensive team in the competition in a three-time grand final rematch. We'll throw it over to Anthony Weatherston for the lineups, and then we'll get the ball game rolling.
Thanks, Eric, and welcome to everybody here on beautiful Ghana land on Diamond 1 at West Beach for Eagles versus Magpies. This is the elimination final as it leads into the qualifying final following this game directly. And that game, of course, is between top of the ladder Walkerville and the Seacombe Tigers. Obviously, we're a little bit delayed. The B-grade reserves just went a little bit longer. So just letting you know, obviously, the West Torrens lineup, Steph Trzynski is going to start to Amber Hood. Sophie Hall's over at first base. Emma Burridge at second. Maddie Scott at shortstop. Lana Kaiser's at third. Benedictson at left field, Alicia Marshank at centre, and Jackie Beals over at right. So I'll hand you straight back over and hopefully see you a little bit later on tonight. But good luck to Courtney and Nat, and I'll leave you with the best in the business, Eric Ballner.
Thank you very much to Anthony Weatherston. It should be a great game today between the two teams that have played the last three grand finals on the season. Port Adelaide 16-8. They had 32 points. They were in a three-way tie for points at the top of the standings, but ended up bottom of that tiebreaker because of the runs allowed mark. West Torrens 12-11-1, 25 points, but they came on real strong in the second half of the year. 6-2-1 since Christmas, including a 4-game winning streak in February, and a big part of that was Steph Trzynski, who defeated Seacombe 2-0, Walkerville 2-0, Sturt 4-1, and Port Adelaide 1-0 in those 4 games. But she hasn't pitched a full game since then, and one of the big transitions in this game is normally we see these 85-minute, 90-minute time games, and that's it. After 90 minutes, we're just not playing more softball. This is going to be a 7-inning game. Nat, is there an adjustment from a coaching perspective on the way you navigate a 7-inning game as compared to, well, a game that we just don't know how many innings we're going to get?
Oh, I think you at least know that how many innings are coming, and it sounds a bit silly, but sometimes with a time game you think you've got more time than an innings blows out, so you might think, I've got more time to get back to the top of our lineup, or, these batters are going to be coming up in their lineup, but you can kind of plan who's coming up each time and, what outs you really need to get during that time.
From a pitching perspective, if you're a catcher in this game, 90 minutes is different than this game. Could be 90 minutes long. It could also be 2.5 hours long. We don't know. That's the beautiful thing about these untimed games, as they're meant to be played. Does that get grueling as a catcher, and how do you manage the pitching staff during that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when you are playing a timed game versus a 7-inning game, you kind of have an idea in the back of your mind, like the level of endurance it takes to get through that whole game. And so if you're just stepping into a 7-inning game like at the very end of the season, it's kind of up in the air. Like, do I have the endurance to get through the whole game? I mean, that's more of a pitching question than a catching question, but it does change the level of, the level of effort, maybe the performance that you have behind the plate. So there definitely is an effect on that with a time game versus 7 innings.
Well, both these teams know how to navigate through finals softball. They've been in the last 3 grand finals. The current ledger is 2 for West Torrens, 1 for Port Adelaide. West Torrens trying to do something exceptionally rare, which is win 3 straight titles in a row. If they want to do it, they're going to have to beat Port Adelaide tonight. Then they'll play the loser of Walkerville-Seacombe, and then they'd have to play the winner of Walkerville-Seacombe. Winning finals is hard from the 3-4 spot, Nat, because you have to beat all the other finals team in 1 week in succession.
Yes, that's exactly right, Eric. And they're all very formidable forces, and you just never know what each team's going to bring each time. So you've just got to be on your A game every single game.
Is there a bit of rivalry between these teams, do you think, at this point, given that the seasons have gone through these two teams over the last 3 years?
Yeah, I think definitely Port will want to come out here with a point to prove with West Torrens winning the last 2, but I think they'll all be here ready to play.
Liz Engler in the circle. She's had a really nice season again, a 2.39 ERA in her 65 innings pitched. She's been really solid the second half of the year. The only blemish she had was last weekend's game versus Glenelg. However, it was 39 degrees, it was hot, it was uncomfortable. I'm sure it will be a different Liz Engler today.
Very different. I've already got a jumper on down here. Yeah. Last week my fingertips were sweating when we played Port Adelaide last week. So I think having the week to recover from the heat, because that would have taken a lot of out of both teams because they both played last week. So much better softball conditions tonight.
Well, you just saw a look at the West Torrens lineup. For as much as we talk about how strong Port Adelaide's lineup is, and they are the top in the competition, when West Torrens are on and healthy, they can just about match up. You saw those numbers on there too. West Torrens a very difficult team to navigate, Courtney.
Yeah, absolutely. They are also really good with the bats as well. So it'll be we'll see who adjusts best based off of the pitching that we see today. It'll be an interesting game.
It's win or go home today for one of these teams. Maddie Scott leading things off, and what a progression Maddie's had. She's just come back from playing 4 years at college, and she's come back as a left-handed bat that can spray the ball to all parts of the field, and was named to the Aussie Spirit squad.
So I believe that Maddie's just spent the week in Canberra at the Aussie Spirit Squad camp. So she's obviously had plenty of reps in the last few days preparing for this. So it'd be great to see what she does here.
It's a big cycle for the Aussie Spirit members right now, knowing that LA 2028 is just around the corner. Maddie Scott bunts one away. She's come back way more athletic, Maddie Scott. Not that she wasn't an athlete before she went to college, but she's got that speed. She plays shortstop. She was mainly a pitcher when she left to go to college. 2 strikes on her here, though, to Liz Engler. Scott pops one up towards the right side. It's in foul territory, and Jess Maslin brings that in. Maslin at first, one of the only Port Adelaide players nominated for the Defensive Player of the Year, and she can play a few different positions, and she makes a nice play in foul territory here.
Yeah, absolutely. Maddie Scott did a good job at adjusting to that high pitch there. I already see Engler mixing up the pitches here, which we'll see if she keeps doing that throughout the rest of the game.
Caitlin Holt pops one straight up. These teams in their finals encounters over the last, now 4 seasons, other than one game, they've pretty much all been decided by a moment. 3 years ago, when Port Adelaide won their first ever premiership, it was a Charlize Callahan base hit late that broke up a phenomenal run pitched by Steph Drzezinski.
I think the following year, Lana Kaysler put one over right by where we were sitting watching the game from memory to win the next one after that.
That was a 6th inning 2-run home run that broke a 0-0 draw at the time. And it came moments after Port Adelaide had a runner in scoring position in a 0-0 game in the 6th inning, and a ball was absolutely torched. What looked like was going to be a gapper, and Lana Kaesler climbed a ladder and made a ridiculous catch at shortstop, and then moments later smashed a 2-run homer. Last year, though, West Torrens won in a run rule grand final. Up the middle, and a nice trap from Liz Engler, and she looks nice and settled, Courtney Hokinson.
Yeah, she does. She just threw a few rise balls out up just above the letters, and so she just brought that down. So she is doing a good job at mixing up the pitches and obviously hitting the corners and just the borderline strikes, so she can, get them out.
Amber Hood playing her 100th game for West Torrens today. Played in a few different clubs in her Premier League journey. She has been playing in this competition since she's about 15 years old or so. She's become one of South Australia's best and most consistent players.
I was just going to say, she likes to hit to that centre right alley, Amber does.
Well, she goes center right, but it's right to Montana Edwards, and Liz Engler gets through the first inning 1-2-3 versus an Aussie Spirit player, a national champion, in a tough 1-2-3 part of the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I think Engler is doing a really good job at mixing it up, but I'll also give credit to West Torrens. They're putting the bat on the ball, and I only think it's going to take a little bit of time before they find the barrel and do some damage there on offense.
Well, this is how the lineup will present itself for Port Adelaide. It is the #1 offense in the competition. They scored 56 more runs than their next closest team this year. They led the competition in batting average, in runs scored. They could do a lot of damage. Stolen bases, name a statistical category, they probably owned it. We'll take a look at the defense first. That's the way that they line up. It is pretty much the best that you could have. Steph Trzynski will be the big question, and I'm sure answer for West Torrens, all in the same breath in the circle. But for Port Adelaide, it's Jess Golden into Chloe Davis, Brie Marcelino, Jess Maslin, Charlize Callahan, Liz Engler, Montana Edwards, and Kate Geldof. The big surprise in for this game is under 18 rep Amber Pitfield, who has played 2 games this year. She's been impressive in her 2 games, and they've come in the last week. She's hot. She's 2 for 4. That's the surprise in for me, Nat Bringworth.
Yeah, that's right. She came and had a pinch hit against Glenelg last weekend and had an RBI. She hit a double over right field's head to score the run, and took us by surprise, that's for sure. And so obviously played well again on Wednesday night to get the call up. So, great way to make your debut, isn't it?
Well, Steph Trzynski missed the first half of the year because of an injury, and then when she got in, she looked like Steph Trzynski. She's pitched 26 innings this year. For me, Nat, the 1 base on balls is probably, well, it's what Steph does every year, but that's the most impressive part of Steph's game to me.
That's right. It means you're not going to get any easy base runners on there that they can then try and move around. So that's a good effort. So that's the thing. You don't want to get a cheap runner on and then just be able to, push them around. So if she can keep that up, then it will be a very hard time for Port Adelaide.
It's a noted hamstring injury that is the #1 that Steph is battling right now. But as you said in the pregame, Nat, she's as tough as they come when it comes to battling through injuries. Courtney, when you're battling through those injuries, especially in the leg, how much does that affect everything that you do when you're playing a game?
It does affect everything, but adrenaline can work wonders too, because there are times when if there's a absolute competitor ready to just dominate, there's pain meds and adrenaline can sometimes do the trick.
Well, Steph Trzynski has won the last 2 grand finals for West Torrens. She's a Kath Coral medalist. She's Pitcher of the Year at national championships. She's represented Australia. She's played Division I college, California. She's got a big resume, but she's going to have to battle today, and she's just missed her first 2 pitches to one of the most dangerous pitchers batters in the competition, and Jess Golden.
Jess has got a very good eye for balls and strikes, and is usually a very good lead off and makes the pitcher work a little bit to make sure that, she selects the pitch that she really wants to go after.
Well, she's hitting 508 this season, Jess Golden. Seems like a good number.
Anything above 3 is usually good.
She's second in the competition behind her teammate in Brie Marcelino, and she drops down a bunt, and she's going to make Steph work with the wheels, but Trzynski moves over and makes the play. I'm sure that would have been a test for her early, especially with a hamstring.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just gives them a little bit more confidence getting the first out of the game, because obviously Jess can put the ball in play and get on base. She finds a way to do it every single game. So I think just getting that first out gives their Steph and the whole team just a little bit more confidence.
It's one of the fastest players in the competition. She's got 17 stolen bases on the season. Do you like just testing out the pitcher early there, Nat?
I think especially if she's got a hamstring injury, getting her to bend over, get to the ball quicker, I think it's definitely a good test.
Chloe Davis, one of the young rising stars in South Australia, has been trusted all year pretty much in this 2 spot by Coach Ben Lucas. And while she's still trying to string together some hits, you can't argue with the lineup formula that has worked for this Port Adelaide side. They can put up numbers on you in a hurry.
And they're quick too, so extra bases galore for Port Adelaide at times.
Is that annoying to coach against?
Yes, at times. I always remind our team that they need to make sure all the bases are covered, and they've got to get to the ball quickly just to make sure that we don't give away that extra base for free.
Chloe Davis, 2 strikes on her. Steph looking for the call. Didn't quite get it. Take a look at this Sporties replay. Called just a little bit outside. Well, she got her on that one, the first strikeout from Steph, and you can see how engaged she is in the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. She's doing a great job at just finding her zone. Obviously, she threw those first balls strikes, she threw her first 2 pitches were balls, and now she's doing a good job at kind of finding her rhythm, finding her zone again, and just feeling confident in herself on the mound.
Brie Marcelino. She is one of the finalists for the Kath Coral Medal, the best and fairest in this competition, and with good reason. She's hitting .554. She had 4 home runs, led the competition in RBIs. It's the Triple Crown. It's the average. She tied in home runs. She had the most RBIs. The Triple Crown leader in the Softball Premier League this year. It's her 2nd year in South Australia, her 3rd in Australia overall.
Brie obviously looking for the pitch that she wants to hit, letting that strike go through.
Port Adelaide notably taking a lot of pitches, maybe more so than they normally do early on here.
Yeah, making Steph work, really testing her out.
Got to be a tough one to manage, knowing that your pitcher is going to be worked today. And to add a little bit of drama, Talia Sutton, who's pitched the lion's share of the innings this year. One of the best rookies we've had in this competition this season. Unfortunately, she took a line drive off the hand in the B grade, and she's not even at the ballpark right now. She's being evaluated, but Steph Trzynski gets through 1, 2, 3. Facing the minimum, both pitchers. That's a great way to start for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, she's doing a great job at, again, finding her rhythm, just like hitting those corners, and just feeling like she is who she was last season, especially with these injuries.
Well, don't forget the awards nights are going to be on Sunday. I'm not sure you can, that's tomorrow. I mean, maybe you can get a ticket if you desperately plead to a table. But there are some pretty intriguing finalists. You saw them released on social media on the Adelaide softball competitions pages. There's quite a few players in this game that are in the mix for some medals. In the calf coral department, Jess Golden, Brie Marcelino, and Jess Maslin, all from Port Adelaide, are nominated for the best and fairest. Maddie Scott, the nominee from West Torrens. That's 4 of the 10 top finalists played in this 2 games here. For best batter, Jess Golden and Brie Marcelino are in the mix, and Jess Maslin for Golden Glove. For the Mel McGee medal for best batter, Lana Kaesler in the mix. She's up to bat right now. And we just mentioned Talia Sutton. She is one of the 3 finalists for Rookie of the Year. So plenty of talent between these 2 teams. It's no surprise that they've gone to the last 3 grand finals even. Matt Brinkworth, you mentioned the heroics of Lana Kaesler 2 years ago, and that was a big moment because that broke up we could call it a drought. It'd been about a decade since they had last won a championship, but they had lost so many grand finals in a row that it was fitting that Lana Kaesler was the hero. Yeah,
it's great to see a long-time player awarded with success in a grand final, because that's what you play for, is, to get that team success, and to be a big part of that's always, a bonus.
It wasn't just that they lost grand finals, it was how they lost grand finals, which made it even more painstaking. So many one-run losses. Plays at the plate.
Yeah, sometimes you feel better if it's a bit of a blowout, so that way it's never a good losing one, but it's always harder when it's so close.
Yeah,
because it's very coulda, shoulda, woulda questions after the game.
They had lost some crazy, crazy grand finals, West Torrens. They have been to 5 grand finals in the last 8 seasons. Won 2 of them, and they're trying to go 3 in a row. They have to do it the hard way. Engler just missing outside. Golden, her throwing partner. Golden's been the catcher for the last 3 seasons for this Port Adelaide side. And a swing and a miss. There's the first strikeout of the day for Liz Engler.
Yeah. No, they're doing a great job at mixing up the pitches, hitting all spots in the zone. Jess is doing a great job calling the game. She's always a steady defender, and right now she's showing that too. Receiving the ball well, calling the ball well, and she's doing a great job at keeping Engler steady in the circle there.
Emma Burridge. First pitch swing right back to Liz Engler. 5 up, 5 down for Engler to start this game.
So the pitchers have really come out well to start both of the teams off tonight, which is great. So that always gives confidence to you as a fielding team that they're on their A game.
You can already start to feel things tighten up just a little bit between these teams, and why wouldn't it be? It's an elimination final. The game after this will be the play-in final. The winner goes straight to the grand final. The loser will play in the preliminary final versus the winner of this game. So if you're following along, congratulations. Pitch on the inside. On paper and statistically, these are the 2 best hitting teams in the competition. Sort of damned if you do, damned if you don't when you're pitching to them, right? You throw too many strikes and something's going to get hit.
Absolutely. You don't want to miss in the middle part of the plate against either of these teams.
Well, that ball is hit hard by Sophie Hoyle. That's over the head of Kate Geldof, and Sophie Hoyle is going to stand up with a double. We've seen Sophie hit to this part of the field countless amount of times over the years, Nat.
Yeah, no, Sophie's always good for an extra base hit, so that's a good start for her tonight.
That just confirms that if you miss on the middle part of the plate, they are going to take advantage of that. You don't want to do that against any of these hitters.
And sometimes it's also hard because if you do throw a lot of strikes, it allows the team to put hit and runs on, for example, and you just sometimes, if you just put the bat there, it will make contact and it will go somewhere. So,
particularly against some of the harder throwing pitchers. We saw that in the game on Wednesday night between Glenelg and Taylor Cottle. I think Glenelg only had 3 or 4 hits in that game, but one of them was just ball was kind of, or bat met the ball,
that's
put
right.
up the middle, and it's a base hit. And it counts the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Izzy Benedictson up to bat right now. A good story for Benedictson, who is probably more of a bench player to start the year, but as the season's gone on, she's worked her way in the starting 9 and is rewarded by batting 7 in the finals. But Liz Engler has her frozen on the corner. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Engler. The first scoring opportunity goes by the wayside, but I mean, I thought this game could have potentially been a high-scoring one, just taking a look at the team's forms coming in the finals, but perhaps logic isn't going to be that today.
No, it's really tightened up, and noticeably most of those KCs have been an outside low pitch for both of the pitches that the players have been leaving, so they'll just need to protect the plate a bit more when they've got 2 strikes on them.
You're seeing that being called outside a lot. Courtney, how does that adjust to you as a catcher when you are potentially shifting your game plan during a game?
Yeah, we'll just call more of those pitches. A lot of the times pitch calling can be dependent on what the umpire's zone looks like for that day. And it looks like already they're kind of picking that up because they keep hitting that pitch. So
then you can start moving a bit further out and just seeing how far he's going to call it.
Yeah.
So, and then if the players know that that's what he's going to call, then they'll start to swing at some, poor pitches.
Absolutely. I imagine that's what's going to start happening here within the next inning.
Well, Jess Maslin, one of those players that's nominated for a Best and Fairest award. She's one of the top 10 vote getters. Hitting .386 this year. She hits the ball hard, and it pops off the glove of Lana Kaesler. That would have been a spectacular play. It's probably going to go down as a hit for Maslin, and she can hit the ball hard.
She can, and she can hit both sides, so she's actually very hard to defensively set up against. And whenever we play Port Adelaide, I'm like, both corners, you've got to cover it, because one week she hits left, and then the next minute she'll hit one into the right field corner.
Maslin, a top vote getter in the Best and Fairest in softball. She was runner-up in the women's baseball category that was awarded on Wednesday night. She wasn't at the awards night because she was playing softball here, but a dual threat athlete. Charlize Callahan has built a name for herself as a bit of a big game player over the years. She was the player of the grand final when Port Adelaide won a few years ago, and she knocks the ball to right field. Moving under to make the play is Jackie Beal.
Port's doing a good job at finding barrel here, so it'll be interesting to see what these next batters do as they're starting to find barrel.
Liz Engler up to bat. Now, it's only the second inning. It's a 7-inning game. But when do you know as a coach when you have that feel about how tight things could be, how costly or how expensive runs could be?
Yeah, so at the moment it's very tight. So any run can kind of put the game into doubt, like if it's a 1-0 game. But I think we just have to wait and see how the batters adjust in the next couple of innings as to whether, they're going to be able to get more runs than what they previously have, or whether the pitches are really going to tighten up.
So still too early in the game to get a bit aggressive on the base paths?
Oh, I think you can be aggressive on the base paths with the right runners.
Liz Engler. Jess Maslin hopping around a little bit over at first base. Amber Hood, though, does have a pretty good arm, too. And there are some quicker runners, too. Brie Marcelino and Jess Golden have make up most of those 30 stolen bases for Port Adelaide this year.
And as Steph's a bit around the zone now, I think Ben does quite like to put hit and run, so I wouldn't be surprised if, we see some of those now that Steph's definitely in the zone. Swing and a miss
3 strikeouts for Steph Trzynski. Leadoff runner got on with a hit, but she's 1 out away. Well, one of the most consistent players of the season in Montana Edwards. She's got a 286 average on the year, and it's been around that 300 mark for the whole season. She'll just go 1 for 3 most of the games, it feels like. Edwards gets on base a lot. Got a chance to make an impression here. Just misses on the outside, and Trzynski a couple times today has fallen behind 2-0.
Yeah, I think that's part of coming back and starting to pitch in the last part of the season. I think that every inning is a new inning where you're trying to find your groove. So it's not a surprise that it takes a few pitches for her to feel comfortable again. So I'm not surprised from a catcher's perspective that it might take her a few pitches to feel comfortable again. But I have no doubt that she's going to find her zone and come back firing and doing her thing.
It's been about a month since Steph pitched a complete game, and that is something that almost certainly she'll have to do if West Torrens want to win. A certainly added complication that Talia Sutton no longer available for this game. And it's a rare walk for Steph Trzynski. This is inning number 28 on the season for her, and incredibly, that is just walk number 2.
It's a really good opportunity here for Port to, capitalise on an error and a base on balls. So, but they've got 2 outs already, so that makes it a bit hard too sometimes.
Well, final softball is usually won on 2 things. One is how many free bases that you give up to your opponent or prevent, and the other is who comes through with a big 2-out hit. Kate Geldof has the first scoring opportunity for Port Adelaide. West Torrens had one in their half of the second inning after Sophie Hoyle doubled. Geldof, an international player with the Belgian national team. And Trzynski gets her. Her 4th strikeout, that one looking. Runner in scoring position, no problem for Steph. It takes her exactly 3 pitches to get the punch out.
Once again, a low out. Oh, no, it looked outside, but on the replay, it came in, so probably a screw there. But, yeah, got to make sure that you protect the zone because the umpire has to warm up into the game as well as, the batters and the pitchers.
Well, a big thanks to the Arkaba Hotel and Sporties Bar for supporting the softball competition all season long. You can actually watch these softball finals over at Sporties right now. You can be competing with the Port Adelaide and Tigers game going on at Adelaide Oval right now, or you could be listening to us at the Arc right now. So a big thanks to them. It's a good setup they have over at the Arkaba. They've reconfigured it just ever so slightly to optimize it for your sports viewing pleasure. Good spot to go over at the Arc. Well, they'll flip the lineup over to the 3rd. Alicia Marchink has been a key part of this West Torrens squad for about a decade now at the Division I level. She's had a couple big hits in her finals career as well. How much factor does the sun come in at this westward-facing diamond from the infield at this time of day?
I'm not sure because I'm usually in the
you're
shade.
facing, yeah. You got it easy. Yeah. Wrong person to ask.
But based off of the Callahan's squinting eyes at 3rd, I imagine that it's not easy to play in her spot right now.
Well, she's got her sunnies on her visor, so it might be helpful to put them on just until the sun goes down.
Jammed over towards 2nd. Edwards lets it drop and makes the play. 1 down. Yeah, Nat, this is a weird time at the ballpark here. It's, it was 27 degrees, sunny, beautiful day here in South Australia. We can already start to feel it now. The sun goes down. You're contending with that. It is going to be full-on sweater weather, maybe coat weather tonight at the ballpark.
Yes, definitely. I packed my bag with all my winter woolies after crazy weather the last 2 weekends here, so much better conditions for the girls to be playing in tonight.
It's 39 degrees at this time of the week last week on Saturday. 1 week later, it's going to be 12 degrees in about an hour from now, with some wind blowing right off the water if you've never been down to this ballpark before. Ground ball over towards first. Maslin. Always appreciate a good defensive first baseman.
Absolutely. She has some height, too. So earlier in the game, you saw that she was able to grab that one to make the out. So it's great when you see pitchers field their position, that's for sure.
Through the lineup once now, just one double from Sophie Hoyle. They'll turn the lineup over for the second time. Maddie Scott up to bat with 2 down. What kind of adjustments do you think you'd have to make on Liz Engler at this point?
Yeah, well, I guess I would notice that she's mixing it up a little bit. She has a little bit of speed, so I would maybe back up in the box.
We got a baseball on the field. There's a, well, it could have been a softball too. There's a baseball game going on about 20 meters from us to our right.
Game 2 of 3 starting shortly as well over there.
A lot of links between the Magpies of Port Adelaide and Henley and Grange Rams who are playing. What a diving, a good effort from Brie Marcelino, but that one squeaks through. It's a 2-out base knock from Aussie Spirit member in Maddie Scott. We'll see what color the scorers bring out. I think it was green. Hard hit ball. There's a runner on for Caitlin Holt.
What I really like about Caitlin is that she doesn't let the moment get too big. She's a very steady player, so we'll see what she does here.
283 this year for Caitlin Holt is probably her most consistent season that she's had.
She would have played most of the season, whereas I think in previous seasons she's been kind of in and out of the team just trying to make her mark. So I think the more games you can play, the more settled you feel playing at this level, because it's a lot faster than the B grade competition, so it does give you a lot more confidence the more you play in it.
Well, it's a very respected coaching staff at West Torrens, so it must be a tremendous amount of trust to put Caitlin Holt at 2. It's been a spot normally occupied. Normally it's a 1-2 punch of Harrison Hood at the top of the lineup. They think very meticulously about how it is presented.
Yeah, and putting Amber, into the 3 spot, she definitely has some punch with the bat. So rather than her trying to get herself on, she's there to, score the runs, which against us, she always gets on. So I think it's a good move to then, have people on before her that she can actually move around.
Don't worry, it's not just you that she gets on every time, it feels like.
Yeah, I think last time she played Glenelg, it was 3 for 3.
A big out, though, for the taking, knowing that Amber Hood and Lana Kaesler, 2 champion players, the 3-4 in the lineup. If Holt gets on, there's going to be a runner in scoring position for those players. Slash to the third base side. Big pickup from Callahan. And that is an opportunity taken away by the fine glove of Charlize Callahan. A tricky bouncing ball when it dribbles down that side net.
Yes.
Especially with the sun in your eyes, too.
But Callahan zips it across, and Liz Engler has given up just 2 hits so far. Yeah, her partner or fiance, Willie Lee, will be starting that game 20 feet away from each other. They often go to each other's games and support each other. Sort of an awkward one that they both have an elimination game final that they're both starting on the same night at the same time. They're both at the ballpark, but they're both on a different diamond, although not too far physically away from each other.
No, I mean, Liz will be able to see the end of the baseball. because this will finish up way before the baseball might even, well...
Baseball might, oh, well, the baseball game's still going. West Torrens is, I don't know. Willie will be warming up right now. Steph Trzynski, well, that's where her hamstring injury came on that aforementioned baseball field. Talked to Steph before the game, and she's saying she just, you know, she wanted to pitch last week just to get a bit of a feel about how she's, well, literally feeling, what kind of command she has after not pitching for a little bit. And she said she didn't really get any answers on how she was feeling, but she's out there. Like you said, a mix of adrenaline and painkillers can do wonders.
Most of her injuries over the years have been through netball. So
yeah.
We always had coaches that always said, no, you're not allowed to play netball during softball season.
She is a warrior, though, Steph Trzynski. She was saying she's taken about 26, it was an exact quote, 26 ice baths over the last 3 weeks. More than one a day.
Probably hasn't been so bad when it's been 36 degrees, so almost refreshing.
Yeah, she was saying she's like them. Physically, they feel good, and now mentally, she's very zen, right? You know. Well, one thing about Steph that we've seen over the years is every time she's had something, a niggle or an injury, she always spends time working on complementary or other parts of her game, too. And she gets Pitfield down on strikes. That's 5 strikeouts. You wouldn't know that she's been battling in this game the way it started with 2 1/3 pretty clean.
No, we'll just have to see how the game progresses and how much work she has to do and how it holds up.
Added pressure that the woman that's pitched most of their innings this year is not available. Hot shot to second. Emma Burridge makes the play. And that is music to Steph Trzynski's ears. A 1 pitch out of one of the most dangerous batters in the competition. A lot of pitches they took the first time through. I wonder if Golden swinging at that first pitch might indicate a slight change in approach the second time through. You see it, hit it.
Yeah, absolutely. I say against a pitcher like this, like if the first pitch is a strike, go for it.
You don't want to get behind in the count and then have to hit something that isn't really what you want. You know, it's off the plate or...
It's sort of hard for Steph because she throws so many strikes, more than anyone else in the competition, that you're going to be behind in the count, even if you don't swing on that first pitch.
Right. So might as well give it a go, see what happens.
Chloe Davis with 2 outs on the board. Trzynski's alternated innings with sunglasses. It was glasses on inning 1, glasses off inning 2. And she gets the swing and miss. Don't know what she was looking for. She's smiling. Look at the Sporties replay.
Oh, I think it was the sun.
She couldn't see where the sun was. She couldn't see the ball when Amber was about to throw back. Look at Amber's reaction. Well, these two would have a good connection, Amber Hood and Steph Trzynski. They've thrown a lot to each other over the years. As a catcher, Courtney, I'm sure that helps if you've been working with a pitcher for, oh man, how many times have they thrown to each other, Steph and Amber? It would help if you wouldn't want anybody else to help navigate your way through a tough injury battle.
Absolutely. I can tell that they're very comfortable with each other and that Amber knows exactly what to call and when to call it based off of Steph's strengths. So they're doing a great job at working with each other.
6 strikeouts through 3 innings. She's allowed the 2 base runners. Trzynski looking dialed in and just moves the ball around a little bit and gets those strikeouts. It is no score through 3 innings I was expecting maybe a bit of an offensive scoring game, but yeah, maybe not the case today. Well, it is cold outside today. That means Happy Lapco can help you out, a great part of the softball community, and some proceeds go back of every sales back to the softball community. It's heat therapy right where you need it. They've got a scarf, it's a blanket. It'd probably be good on the shoulder if you're coming off on a cold night trying to keep yourself warm. I'm sure a few people will have those out on grand final day next Saturday night when it'll be cold. Wonder if any of these two teams will be playing in the grand final. Nothing is guaranteed as it's an elimination final between Port Adelaide and West Torrens. 3 innings, not much gives as we've already reached almost the halfway point. When you're coaching in these things, do you feel these games get tighter? I know in the fans and the stands you can feel it too, but do you actually feel it in the ground as well?
Yeah, and if you haven't had a lot of bat to ball in these at-bats, you just kind of start to wonder, how we're going to get contact. If you've already got contact, it's then just trying to, get some, into the gaps a bit more, so you have a bit more confidence if you've had bat to ball. It's like a matter of time that it's going to get through. Just keep chipping away at it.
Well, by that metric, West Torrens have struck out just twice. They've put bat to ball a lot, including a big double, and now a bunt laid down from Amber Hood. Well, Nat, she can beat you in so many different ways, Amber Hood, and a leadoff runner aboard for the first time today.
And she's got some speed too, so they're going to be worried about her on the base path now that Amber's on. So you've got to make sure that, restrict her from getting an extra base. And you've got an extra base hitter coming up to bat in Lana Kaesler.
Courtney, Amber can run, Lana Kaesler can hit. She's hitting .426 this season and a proven big game hitter. What kind of things run through your mind as a catcher in these sort of scenarios?
Well, if there's a runner on first with some speed, I'm always thinking they're probably going to be stealing. Especially with a hitter like Lana, you're going to want to score the hitter. So you're going to want to get the runner in scoring position. So probably a steal here, and then Lana will probably, or she'll bunt. So definitely, you're thinking they're going to be moving the runner to second base to get her in scoring position. So just got to be ready for anything.
I always love these different schools of thought about how you approach a runner on first and your best bat up to bat right now. Do you take the bat out of their hands and play the team game and sacrifice, or do you let her swing away? It's a tricky one. I'm of the swing away philosophy.
I'm split between the two because I've done both. So sometimes it comes off that they get the hit, and then other times when they don't, then you're like, I should have just bunted them.
Some are set in their ways of every scenario, and again, they're going to try it a second time. A nice bunt laid down from Lana Kaesler. So even though she's got that .426 average, she's put a runner in scoring position with 2 very good hitters in Emma Burridge and Sophie Hoyle up to bat.
But I've had coaches, Linda Martin, who will be helping out with Walkerville later. She would say it doesn't matter who's coming into the box. Whether it's your number 4 who's hit 500, you will be bunting.
Runners on first and second, no matter what, bunt 100% of the time in the Linda Martin School of Coaching.
Yes.
Is that an indication of how expensive runs might be today? Is that we're in the 4th inning, your best batter up to the plate, and they're saying, we just got to manufacture something?
I think so.
Well, this is cracked down the line, and that's probably the theory. Get a runner in scoring position because Burridge can hit the ball hard, and Sophie Hoyle has a double today. Yeah,
absolutely. And with these two hitters back to back, there's something is going to happen, especially with Hood having speed. She's going to find her way. She's going to find her way home if anything gets put in play.
Opens up some scenarios. Defense has to be good too. Catching has to be good as well. If that ball finds its way to a backstop, then all of a sudden tremendous pressure and many ways to score the runner from third.
That's right. Brings the squeeze into play as well.
West Torrens now resorting to some factory softball, trying to build a run. Burridge, hard hit ball and a nice pickup from Montana Edwards. The runner advances to third, but if that gets through, it's probably a 1-0 game. Tricky play over at second.
And now they're going to have the catch-up, speed-up rule, so hopefully they've got another quick run. Oh, Maddie Scott to come out and run.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be a hindrance. If you've got a catcher who's really quick, you actually really want them out there as long as you can, but sometimes it works the other way. If you've got someone like Maddie Scott coming on to run for you, then I'm sure you're not too upset.
Both these teams have that problem, and that Hood can run and Golden can run. And lots of times how closely they bat in the lineup, it's a good point, because many times you'd have Amber Hood on and she'll need to be sped up for, and Maddie Scott's already on base because she gets on base a lot. Same problem with Brie Marcelino and Jess Golden in that scenario. Well, Sophie Hoyle already has a double today. Pitch rides on the inside.
They seem a bit shallow in the outfield, considering that Sophie hit it to the fence last at bat. Because she's going to score on a ground ball to the outfield, so...
Ball put in play.
You'd be hoping to, protect get her to pop up and make the out that way. So, interesting fielding position. I thought they'd probably be a little bit deeper for her.
It's taken nearly 4 innings to get a runner past second base. There's 2 outs on the board, but certainly the biggest and most vulnerable any team has been to allowing a run so far. Now it's a full count.
You might even think about putting her on.
Or at least just pitching something outside. Yeah. Well, going in on Sophie Hoyle, we've seen people be hurt by that a lot. Courtney, what do you think? You just toss one outside, and if they swing, it's okay, and if you walk her, you kind of take your medicine a little bit?
Yeah, I would be okay walking her. I would definitely go outside and be okay with that if it ends up being a walk, because you don't want to leave anything on the plate with a batter like this, especially what she did last time.
So if he just protects the zone there, making sure, she doesn't get one called against her.
Good battle. This is pitch number 8 in this at-bat. Puts it in play. And Montana Edwards had to fight the sun a little bit. She had a nice trap earlier. West Torrens get the leadoff runner aboard, but Port Adelaide defense comes up pretty big there, Courtney.
Yeah, they did a great job. Sophie Hoyle just got underneath that ball, but and with the sun and with the wind, that was just a weird ball to read. That could have been a game-changing moment, but she did a great job at staying steady, staying in the moment, and finishing the play.
Yeah, the wind's definitely picked up in the last couple of innings, so that always plays havoc out there in the outfield because it swirls a fair bit and sometimes you don't know which way it's going to go. That's why I'm glad I don't play in the outfield.
Well, so many classics between these teams in the finals. There have been games decided by 1 or 2 runs in the finals over the last 3 years between West Torrens and Port Adelaide on 5 different occasions. That's in grand finals, in 1-2 games, and this season that carried over. West Torrens lost to Port Adelaide 3-2 on opening day. Then Port Adelaide won 7-0. Then there was a 4-3 game and a 1-0 game. Pretty much every time these teams play, it's decided by 1 run. And if it's not 1 run, it's 2, and it's by a moment, by care of something like a Lana Kaesler home run late in the game that breaks the tie. In close ball games, though, quite surprisingly, Port Adelaide are just 2-5 when games are decided by 1 run or less. In close games in general, that's 2 runs or less. They are 3-7 on the year. West Torrens are 7-4-1. How important is efficiency versus this team like Port Adelaide to not give Brie Marcelino many at-bats during the game?
Yeah, I know that when we play Port and we're looking at the lineup and we get down to the bottom, it's trying to work out, can we get up to 2 out and just have to deal with Jess? But you don't want to get up to the top and you've still got, 3 outs to go and you've got to deal with Jess and Brie in the same lineup.
This is the second time Brie Marcelino has come to the plate, and crucially, for the woman that led the comp, she won the Triple Crown. Most RBIs, most home runs, highest average. There have been exactly 0 base runners for her to work with. That wouldn't happen too often for Brie Marcelino.
No. You're always happy if she's the lead-off. Just got to try and restrict how many bases she gets.
Then you just have to worry about her 9 stolen bases.
That's right.
Pitching cagey to her, though. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing a good job at mixing up the zone, especially with a batter like her up. You don't want to leave anything over the plate. And again, this is one where if you take a walk, I wouldn't be too mad about it. she can absolutely barrel the ball and take extra bases whenever they come. So yeah, they're doing a good job at mixing it up. And if it ends with a walk, I think that they can still, walk away with, getting her off a base.
We're already in the bottom of the 4th, and there's just been 5 base runners total in the game. Only once has a team got a runner past second base. Leadoff runner aboard, and she's a dangerous one.
Game is getting tense.
On the theme of danger, Jess Maslin already has a hit today. It was either hit or an error. Either way, the ball was hit hard, Jess Maslin over to third.
I won't be surprised if we see a hit and run here.
Maslin takes. This is Maslin's 4th year with the Port Adelaide Magpies after a lengthy career at Seacombe. Moved over when Seacombe didn't have a team in the competition. And Port Adelaide have been to a grand final every single year since she joined the club. Hadn't been to one before. She knows how to win, Jess Maslin.
So Steph just needs to find the zone again here, and if they're going to put the bunt down, then just let them do it and make the out.
The longevity of Steph Trzynski was the big question heading into this game. Dealing with a hamstring injury. Those don't feel better the more you play in a game.
Definitely not. I'm very impressed that in the 4th inning still, she's still managing to stay competitive and hitting strikes.
She'll likely have to go the distance today. That ball left the bat in a hurry. These are 2 competitors going at each other right now. 2 strikes on Maslin. A matchup that's happened plenty of times before.
They've grown up playing against each other for a long time. They're both at similar age so we've played junior softball against each other as well as obviously senior softball. Played in junior state teams together.
Both won a calf coral. 2 walks.
Jess does a great job at not letting the moment get too big. Those are some pitches that would be really easy to swing at, but she did a great job at just not letting the moment get too big and staying within herself.
Marcelino can fly. She's in scoring position, and Charlize Callahan.
You'd be bunting here.
Well, it's bunted straight up in the air, and that was almost disaster for West Torrens. Not a great bunt, and runners are on first and second, and now one out in play. You need that on the ground, Nat.
That's right. It's an easy way to move the runners around, and you've still got 2 outs to then manufacture to get one of those home. And having Bree as one of the, your front runner, then you're just looking for a loose ball anywhere to.
Well, Liz Engler sprays one towards right field, fighting the sun, and it drops down. Runner will advance to third, and that ball slips away, and it's going to score a run. Free bases have manufactured a run for Port Adelaide. And now they have 2 runners in scoring position still.
That's what happens. You get bat to ball, and anything can kind of happen.
A ball drops, a throw slips away, and a run crosses the plate. Think Engler's pumped? She's just helped herself.
I mean, as a pitcher, it's always great to have some runs behind you when you're going back onto the mound. It just gives you a little bit room to breathe.
All these players we've talked to in these post-game interviews lately have talked about wanting to approach finals in form and with confidence. Well, the last time Engler started a game, it was a 14-run effort from Glenelg just 1 week ago. That's a complete outlier to Liz Engler this season. She has incredible numbers. She's been right around that 2 ERA all season. Has been entering the game, that Glenelg game. We were talking about how good Port Adelaide have been on minimizing damage. But still, that's an awkward time before finals to have a big game put up against you.
Yeah, you want to be going in, having really good pitching outings, and unfortunately that wasn't the case on Saturday. It was extremely high. It was hard work for both pitchers on Saturday, and
she's through 4 clean and helped score a run. Edwards stays alive. 2 walks and an error, 1 run on the board. Now Montana Edwards can add to the damage. Haven't had a pitcher visit as well. Is this something you'd look at too, Courtney? Just going out and settling down the pitcher a little bit?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, she might do it here, especially in a moment like this. In a moment like this, you just want to settle down the defense, and you want to stop Port's momentum. So right now would be a perfect time to go just settle everything down, regather your defense, and hopefully walk away with another out.
3 walks in an inning. 1 walk in 26 before this. She's moving a little slower though, Steph, when she's getting back in the circle. You gotta wonder how that hamstring's feeling.
Yeah, you wouldn't want a long innings like we're having at the moment, that's for sure. So she's got 8 and 9 that she needs to push through and really work hard to get these 2 outs. Otherwise, we're coming back up the top to Jess Golden, who can definitely do some damage if there's still some runners left on there, if it's not done beforehand.
Courtney, I know last time we were on a call together, we talked a little bit about reading the pitcher, body language, everything in there. Some big breaths right now taken from Steph Trzynski.
Absolutely. I think right now she's probably at a point where she is, she's battling like 3+ injuries at the moment, and she's probably feeling like starting to feel the pain of at least a few of them right now. So I think that it's just kind of a sigh of maybe frustration, maybe a sigh of disappointment in herself, because she knows that without these injuries she'd be performing differently.
And that's where it comes the mind battle, doesn't it? Really trying to push through those thoughts and, knowing that you've got the goods to do it, but
absolutely
ignoring what the body's telling you.
Yeah.
It's a moment for Port Adelaide to try to break through. Just missed. 2 strikes on Geldof. It's a big out, knowing that there's an under-18 state team player playing in just her second start and 4th game in Premier League level on deck, and she potentially will be coming up in a tremendous spot in Amber Pitfield. Can Kate Geldof alleviate some of the pressure? Full count. This is an almighty big pitch.
This is sometimes as a coach you can't actually watch it's out of your hands, and so you just got to see what happens.
Geldof second in the league with 16 walks, tied. Swing and a miss. That is a big strikeout from Steph Trzynski.
Absolutely. She was mixing it up a ton in the zone. She was kind of running out of pitches to pitch, but she ended up, pitching it above the letters and walking away with the strikeout. So big relief there for the defense.
How's this for a matchup, Matt? You've got an under-18 state player playing in game number 4 at this level versus the pitcher that's won the last 2 championships and has 2 calf corals to her name.
And she's going out swinging early. It wasn't probably the pitch to swing at, but at least she's showing aggression and she wants to be that player. That's what you want to see as a coach. They want to be that player to score that run. So sometimes you can deal with them swinging at a poor pitch because you know that they want to get the job done.
Well, the bases are loaded and Jess Golden is on deck. A huge out if Steph Trzynski can survive 3 walks, giving up just 1 run.
Not a bad miss.
Trying to get a young pitcher to chase something. She bends, but she doesn't break. 3 walks, but only 1 run crosses the plate. And Trzynski gets 2 huge strikeouts with the bases loaded to keep this a 1-swing game. That is a huge break. Well, Courtney, you have been here in South Australia for almost the whole season right now. You're heading back to Minnesota shortly, but you've got you've got a couple things in the kitchen right now.
Yeah, I do. So I am just super passionate about helping catchers find confidence behind the plate and helping them know what to actually do. Because as we all know, catching is one of the most important positions on the field, yet it's one of the most undercoached positions on the field. So I teach catchers to receive better, block more pitches, lower their pop time, and become just more dominant leaders behind the plate. But the problem is that one-on-one lessons really only happen once a week. So realistically, that's not enough to get real results that catchers are looking for. So recently, I actually just built an online training program where I work with catchers multiple days a week. So they get custom programming, weekly feedback, 24/7 access to me and my number, and they stay in their program until they reach their goals. And so if I am and location doesn't matter anymore, so I can work with catchers from Australia when I'm back in Minnesota. So if anybody's serious about getting better at catching, feel free to go to my catching page, Catching with Court, DM me, say you heard me from the live stream, and I'll see if I can help you get better at catching.
It's Catching with Court, but spelled C-O-R-T.
Yes.
Don't make that mistake.
Yeah, I like to change things up a little bit.
Well, it's how you spell your name. But,
Yeah,
it's the power of online coaching that you can make these connections all over the world. And
absolutely. And I'm currently working with catchers in Minnesota, and we're seeing week to week changes and progression in their skills, and they're getting to a place where they feel really confident heading into their high school season coming around the corner.
So if you're from South Australia and you want to work with Courtney Hokinson, Catching with Court. That ball's going to be caught in center field by Kate Geldof. Izzy Benedictson flies out. I mean, you don't have to tell yourself you are a catcher, and Nat, yourself, the value that a great catcher can bring to a team. We've seen so many games, both in softball and baseball, decided by what you described earlier. That pop time sometimes makes the big difference. How quickly can you get up to throw that strike to potentially tag out a runner at second?
Yeah, good catchers, or really good catchers, can make average pitchers really good. You can really, make the most of what they've got if you've got a good catcher behind the plate.
Alicia Marchink over to the right side. Montana Edwards has been pretty busy today, hasn't she? Pretty unfazed Montana Edwards.
Yeah, she's doing a really good job at playing her position and staying steady, not letting the moment get to her, or the sun, because right now it looks like the sun is in her face. So she's doing a good job at playing her position regardless of the elements that might be in the way.
Jackie Beal will complete the second time through the lineup now. West Torrens only have 2 hits, and they haven't had a sequence where they've had back-to-back base runners. And Montana Edwards had a big stretch from a Defensive Player of the Year nominee in Jess Maslin. It's another 1-2-3 inning. Liz Anglers threw 5 with just giving up 3 base runners, and all of a sudden, Nat, it's 6 outs to work with for West Torrens. It's got late early.
That's right. And Liz would be very thankful that she's had to hardly pitch any pitches in that last innings to then get to the next 2 innings for the game. So you'd be very happy with that.
What that also does is you just had a pitcher that had 3 walks, was out there for probably, 10, 12 minutes in an inning, and that last half inning would have lasted 2 minutes, and all of a sudden, it just keeps adding pressure. It's a game of pressure points, this one, isn't it?
It certainly is, and you can see that, both teams, there's a little bit of tension. Everybody is a little bit tense. There's a lot on the line here, especially with these 2 teams being common rivals with each other. So you can just tell that there's a lot of tension on the field right now, and it hasn't changed going into the last innings.
And we've got the top of the lineup to start off with again. So the pressure's already back on West Torrens again by having Jess Golden up to bat.
Well, in this competition, so much you hear people talk about different eras and eras of dominance as Jess Golden takes the first pitch. That could be, Walkerville won, 9 and 11 years or whatever it is at one stretch, and Sturt had a prolific run in the mid 2010s, and West Torrens at one stage won, how many championships did they win?
5 in a row.
Yeah, 5 in a row. So it always is about eras, right? Now the question is right now is who owns this kind of recent era, the 2020s, you could call it. Port Adelaide and West Torrens have played in the last 3 grand finals. This one is hit hard towards center field, taking a range back at the wall, and caught at the track is Alicia Marchink.
That was a good catch because you could see that the sun had popped into her vision just right before she was to catch that ball.
But this very much has the potential to be a legacy game, and what I mean by that is if West Torrens can win this game, get to another grand final, if they can win a grand final 3 in a row, go to 4 in a row, there's no doubt who this era belongs to right now.
Yeah.
But if Port Adelaide can win this game, keep that alive, get to a grand final, win a grand final, and another big swing from Chloe Davis, 2 down. If Port Adelaide can get to a grand final and win it, well, all of a sudden, the ledger is tied between West Torrens and Port Adelaide. It's in elimination games, 2-2 on the ledger. If theoretically Port Adelaide win another one, well, then it's 2 in a 4-year stretch as well. There's very much a legacy play here between these teams.
That's right. So just have to wait and see, I guess, how it all pans out. But this has been a good innings by Steph. Hasn't had to pitch a lot of pitches so far.
Ranging over, that was almost a fantastic play from Emma Burridge.
So after having a longer innings last innings, Steph will be grateful that she's got onto this innings and only a few pitches for the first 2 outs, but she's got Bree in the box now, so she's always a hard out, so puts the pressure back on still.
I don't know how it was scored in the second inning, but if I'm looking at this right, I think Steph's she might not have allowed a hit. Borderline hit? in the second. There was a hot shot. It was a hard hit ball off the bat of Maslin. Could have been fielded.
I put it as an error, unfortunately, to Lana.
If that's the case, then Steph has walked 4, but hasn't allowed. If that was probably an error in the right fielder, is that in and out of the glove? How was that scored?
I think it was. It bounced before it got to the glove, so it probably went down as a safe hit. Yeah.
Either way, what an effort from Steph Trzynski, who's battling a few niggles, hasn't pitched a full game in a month, and has come out here and now pitched into the 5th inning. Games are normally 90 minutes, and we're approaching minute 80 in this one. It's been a quick game.
So I've just got a message sent to me about the Mount Gambier League. So the Warriors down at Mount Gambier have won their 2nd premiership in a row, so they might be starting their own era there, Eric.
That was this afternoon?
That was this afternoon, and they're all out watching our game. Hopefully they're watching and celebrating at the same time, which I'm sure they are doing.
2 in a row. That's some pressure for next year. Congratulations to them. That's awesome. It's a good community down in the Mount. One of their own. The catcher is behind the plate right now.
That's
in Amber Hood. Courtney, have you been to Mount Gambier before?
No, I haven't.
It's about a 5-hour drive away.
Okay.
And it's a small community, but they've had some good baseball and softball players come from that program. Most notably, the Hood sisters, Georgia right now crushing it over at college in the United States and on the Spirit squad. Amber catching, but famously, the two of them would wake up early morning on Saturday, drive down 5 hours for a competition, play, dominate the competition, and drive back home at night with their mom, Tanya. And I think some of those drives were interesting on the way back when things didn't go the Hood sisters' ways in their young days growing up and going to school. They live in Adelaide now, and Amber does, but those would have been some interesting car rides.
Sometimes it was bad enough just to make a car ride, which is 30 minutes sometimes, let alone 5 hours if the game hasn't gone your way. But no, it just shows dedication to the sport, and there's quite a few Mount Gambier girls that have done that over the years. I've coached in junior state teams, Maggie Breen being one of those. So, and then similarly, Sophie Hoyle from Sunraysia used to do that, the 5-hour drive from Mildura before she also moved down to Adelaide.
This one pops straight up. Trzynski, another clean inning, allows just the 1 walk, but we're through 4, and it's still a 1-0 game. I know we had some, I know it's not a comparison in terms of drives, but I know we had some games in the hills over the years. We've had some games in Elizabeth. It would be kind of cool to do like a little of a road trip one weekend and go and play some ASA competitions in Mount Gambier. Maybe have a bit of a home run derby or something the night before with all the players up in that competition.
Yeah, it's a really good opportunity to take the game out to the community. I know we love going and playing up at the hills, and we've been doing that for quite a few years, and we always have like a team dinner beforehand at someone's house, and then it's like this really good carnival atmosphere up there. So I think something that they could look at to try and grow the sport.
Look at the calf coral medalists, the nominees that will be awarded on Sunday. Yeah, Courtney, you got to play in that Hills game for the competition. What was that atmosphere like for you? It's pretty fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it was super fun. I was able to convince my coach to let me pitch. I've never pitched before. I walked a lot of people, but I did manage to strike one out, so that was super fun. It's just a more relaxed environment. But speaking of traveling distances, I've noticed a lot that people are willing to travel hours and hours to find good competition to play softball here, which is something that's different than from where I'm from. So it's very impressive, the dedication that people have to the sport.
Well, Mount Gambier is probably the closest city to South Australia with some size to it. Maddie Scott, first pitch swing, crunch towards left field, right to the glove of Thompson in left. And that is a string of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row now. That's a key player out. That's an Aussie Spirit player.
Sorry, I'm just showing the other two commentators the picture that's been sent through to me from Mount Gambier of them watching the game with all their premiership medals. So well done again.
We're glad we could help bring the coverage down there. It's a good place to go. I remember the ABL played some games there a few years ago. That was fun. Caitlin Holt and Amber Hood, Mount Gambier's own, due up. But only 5 outs up their sleeve right now.
Yeah, the pressure's really starting to turn now on West Torrens.
Liz Engler has another pitcher to help back her up in Kate Geldof. They've been running a 1-2 punch all year. I'm sure that would have crossed Ben Lucas's mind before, whether it's going to be a 1-2 punch, but when you have your pitcher go 5 1/3 and only allow 3 base runners to this point, it sort of makes that conversation a little bit easier, doesn't it, Coach Brinkworth?
Yeah, it's always good to have a pitcher up your sleeve. We started our season with Jade with a calf injury, so that made it a bit harder for us. You can't make a change just to change the tempo of the game, but and it's always, just good to have that backup plan if you need to go to it.
Always good to have a pitcher up your sleeve, but even better when you don't have to use it.
That's right.
Usually means that something's gone well.
Yes.
She's looked pretty stable throughout the game, hasn't she, Courtney? In Liz Engler.
Yeah. She has been looking really steady. She's been doing a good job at hitting strikes all over the zone, but that also means that Jess is doing a good job at calling the pitches. So clearly they have a very comfortable relationship with each other. Jess knows what to call. Liz knows what to throw. She knows how to hit those strikes.
Key base runner here, though, potentially, if Caitlin Holt can get on, it gives 2 cracks for Amber Hood and Lana Kaesler, potentially their last opportunity with the middle of the lineup. Can Caitlin Holt get on base? Check swing. And she's out. Oh, no. She's going to be safe. Was it a walk? She didn't go?
Yeah, it was a walk. So obviously held the hands back enough to get on base and
held back quick and confidently walked down that line. So Amber Hood and Lana Kaesler, the 2 highest batting averages on West Torrens, have the tying run on first base. The 2-time defending champions, their season in perilous position at the moment. Look how choked up on the bat she was, too.
Just looking for contact there.
Amber Hood over to third. Callahan gets, the transfer's not made. They tried to get the lead runner, and the ball just slipped away. And now Lana Kaesler, a grand final hero, has 2 runners aboard.
Yeah, it's really important in that double play situation that you make sure of the first out, and the second out is always a bonus.
Now Jess Golden just wants a word with everybody too, Courtney.
Yeah, I think that's a really good move on her part. She's doing a great job at stopping the momentum, getting their defense resettled. There's a force out at third, and so that's obviously what you're going to be thinking. So and then you have their best batter up to the plate. So great job by Jess calling time and then getting their defense settled before this happens.
It's the first time of the night that West Torrens have got back-to-back base runners aboard. It's the first time they've had 2 players on base at the same time, and only the 3rd time they've had a runner in scoring position. And if you were to pick any player you'd want in this West Torrens lineup from a West Torrens perspective to be up to bat right now, you're probably
I'd pick
wanting Kaesler.
Yeah.
Kaesler struck out, and then she laid down a bunt to try to get a runner in scoring position. It was a successful bunt, a good at-bat.
Yeah. So Port Adelaide have set up to protect the run on a ground ball hit by the looks of it.
Kaesler cracks one to left field, but it's on a line. Thompson brings it in, and there's 2 down and a crucial out. That said, Emma Burridge, who's up to bat now, has hit the ball hard a couple times today.
As a hitter, that's the most frustrating thing, is doing exactly what you should do. Barrel the ball, line drive. Exactly. Right to it, right to a defender.
Thompson didn't have to move much, did she? Will that be the last at-bat that Lana Kaesler has this season?
And then you hit one on the end of the bat and it falls in for a safe hit. It's never fair sometimes.
And that is how they've scored a run in Port Adelaide. Just a little bloop to right field. Taking advantage of some walks. Emma Burridge having a really nice season this year. This is the moment for West Torrens. Burridge puts the ball in play. Marcelino backs up on it. Throw across the diamond, it slips away. West Torrens will score, but will they score 2? Lana Kaesler retreats back to third, but the Torrens Eagles take advantage, and this ball game is tied.
That was definitely a surprise. Bree so solid, but Port Adelaide were able to quickly get on the ball to make sure that the second run didn't score there.
Pressure on the defense has now accounted for both of the teams' runs. Both of the teams have scored off of the backs of a ball just being thrown away.
So they've got Sophie Hoyle coming up to bat, so I wonder whether they might intentionally walk her to put her on to bring up Izzy Benedictson, but Izzy hit a nice fly out to centre field last at bat, so it'll be interesting to see what they do from a defence perspective.
Pick your poison. Sophie Hoyle has over the fence power. West Torrens down a run and had 4 outs up their sleeve, have just tied it by putting a ball in play. And I'm sure frustrating as a pitcher-catcher combination when you get your job done, and a free base for both these teams has proved costly. Probably puts the score right where it needs to be, though, and that's tied.
Absolutely.
Might be looking at a tiebreaker now.
We've seen extra innings between these teams twice in the finals before. These teams play each other tight all the time. West Torrens have the advantage historically right now, but barely. Sign of a champion team, though, down to their final 4 outs, season on the line, and they just find a way to tie the game. Couple errors. Hoyle puts the ball in play again. Marcelino has to range over, and she makes the play. Maslin had to move over to her right. Had she not made that play, West Torrens are in the lead.
Absolutely. That's a big sigh of relief for Port there with Sophie Hoyle up to the plate. They were able to get her out, so big sigh of relief there. Hopefully they'll be able to produce some runs. Tension has definitely increased in this past inning.
Yeah, there's nothing like the game of softball when it's a close game and not much between the teams, but so often when you see the games be played at a high level. There's just not a lot of runs in the game in general, and things are often decided late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Charlize Callahan, Liz Engler, and Montana Edwards are due up for Port Adelaide. They'll have 2 more cracks at the bat of it unless they score one here and then shut things down. But that does mean that Jess Golden will get another at-bat in the game, and if they get another couple base runners, then the likes of Marcelino and Maslin, the way the lineup's setting up, it's setting up pretty good for Port Adelaide.
For sure. And although Jess hasn't gotten a hit, she's hit the ball hard every time she's been up to the plate. And so, yeah, definitely not a place that I would want to be if I were West Torrens.
Well, it is now official. This is the deepest that Steph Trzynski has gone in a game in a year. Games are played with an 85-minute, no new innings time limit in the regular season. This is now minute 87. So in the regular season, although she did pitch a couple 7-innings games in complete game efforts, the time of the game hasn't been this lengthy since the finals last season. It's been a heck of an effort from Trzynski. 8 strikeouts so far, and we're just starting the 6th. In the 4th inning, it was an error and 3 walks that cost West Torrens a run.
Yeah, West Torrens will be looking to limit the damage in this innings, because getting towards the bottom of the Port's lineup, you don't want to then get back up to the top to see Golden, Marcelino and Maslin again.
Ball finds a gap, and Charlize Callahan always has a knack for a big game, is on base, and she's the potential winning run.
And Liz got that little flare to right field last innings to score the run, so it'll be interesting to see that Jackie's just in a little bit more, I think, at right field there, just to protect that.
Tell you what, there must be a heck of a sunset going on right now. We're facing east, and there's all kinds of colors. West behind us, it must be incredible, but the sun setting on one of these teams' seasons. Who will be standing when the sun goes down? Popped up. That's a big out. Sophie Hoyle makes the play.
So Monty's had 2 walks the last 2 at-bats, so hasn't had the opportunity to do any damage yet, so...
Yeah, their last at-bat was an 8 or 9 pitch at-bat. She's gone deep versus Steph. Back in the 4th. You want to circle your scorecard moment in the 4th inning after they had already scored a run. It was bases loaded, 1-0, 1 out. And Kate Geldof and Amber Pitfield both had a crack to try to blow this game open, and Steph Trzynski held firm, and she's continued from that point. Shot to right field. That one goes foul. You could hear the exhale from West Torrens supporters.
And the disappointment from Port.
Opposite field, line drive. And by just a few feet, Port Adelaide would have had the lead. Another great tussle between 2 rivals. Edwards down on strikes. It's number 9 from Trzynski. They got the leadoff runner on, but Trzynski's 1 out away from getting out of another jam.
Hood does a great job at receiving that pitch there.
See how fired up Amber Hood was, too? How much of that as a catcher is sometimes about giving your pitcher some energy too?
Yeah, it's very important, because if you have a catcher that's in the game and a catcher who's passionate about you doing well, then it's just going to make you want to do that much better.
And everyone's looking at you as a catcher because they're all looking that way, so can really make or break the energy of a team.
Absolutely. As a catcher, you're a leader no matter what. So, like, if you're a bad leader, you're going to be leading the defense. If you're a good leader, you're going to be leading the defense. So it's your choice on the type of leader that you want to be. And so if you have the energy, you're going to just be bringing up the defense and your pitcher that much more, which is such an important element to the game.
Amber's not afraid to be vocal. Two strikes.
So the go-to is still that outside edge for both pitchers. That one, I think, a bit more off the plate. But that's part of the job, isn't it, as a catcher trying to sell it?
Both of them. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Popped up again, and another lengthy at bat for Geldof. Trzynski looking for strikeout number 10. West Torrens had a backup plan in case Steph Trzynski's body didn't hold up in Talia Sutton, but Talia Sutton took a line drive off the hand in the B grade final. Poked over towards center field, but Maddie Scott ranges back and makes the play. And the gutsy effort from Steph Trzynski and the West Torrens defense continues. 9 strikeouts. She's allowed a few more base runners than we're used to, but Trzynski is just grinning and bearing it. And she's got her team to the 7th inning, and this game's tied at 1.
So we're going to have the 7, 8, 9 batters coming up to bat for West Torrens, and then when we return the other way, we're going to have number 9 and then back up to the top again for Port. So something definitely might happen in the 7th that might break it open.
Well, the Sparms player of the game will be awarded after the game. I think it's going to be decided in a moment. I think this one might be easy for us, but I have no idea who's going to win it, if that makes sense.
Both pitchers have done a very good job.
There's probably 18 players right now that could be up for grabs for winning the player of the game, given that we're tied going to the 7th. Although, if you were to name a player of the game right now, it'd probably be Trzynski and Engler.
Yeah, they've done a great job tonight.
I agree with you. It's going to come down to a big moment.
7th inning, the final inning of regulation, I should say. We would play extra innings. And Izzy Benedictson will lead things off.
Just didn't get her hands through on that one, but good contact.
Now they say if 7, 8, 9 get it done, that's how games are won. And it cannot be any more true right now for West Torrens. Can they get a base runner on for their Aussie Spirit player in Maddie Scott? That's the formula. You can feel some nervous energy in the crowd behind us, can't you? Benedictson, it's in foul territory, just out of the reach of Jess Maslin. 2 strikes. Probably a nervous wait as well for Walkerville and Seacombe, who are going to be playing their first finals softball in a couple of years. But that game was scheduled for 7. It's now 7:36 because the game had gone before. There'll be probably a 20 to 30 minute delay between the game. This one could go extra innings. I'm sure as a player in that game, the preparation part of it is becoming a bit agonizing at this point.
Absolutely. Softball is such a mental game, and when you have elements that disrupt the mental preparation, that can definitely affect you as you enter into such a big game.
What an at-bat from Izzy Benedictson leading off here.
It's a great at-bat, just getting away quite a few pitches, making Liz really work hard for the out. That's what you really want your 7, 8 and 9 batters to do, work hard for the outs.
Ball in play again, Marcelino scoops, fires the bullet low. Looked like she had to rush that. Maybe had not as much time as she thought, but look at the Sporties replay. Beat her by quite a distance. Needs some marching. Engler has allowed 1 unearned run in this game. It came in the 6th off of a throwing error. Off of her work, she's allowed just 4 base runners in the game. That'll work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, her highest scoring offense hasn't been able to convert.
So Alicia's had contact the last 2 at-bats, so she's just looking to hit a gap. I think she's hit it straight to Monty the last 2 times, but trying to get that gap to get a runner for them.
Well, certainly making her work. All of these would be some of the higher pitch counts of the year. Well, it would be the highest pitch counts of the year for either of these pitchers. It's also the longest game Engler's pitched in a year, too.
Yeah. Good leave there by Alicia. See that she wanted it, but was able to keep her hands back.
Full count. Swing and a miss. What a pitch to go back to for Liz Engler.
Yeah, that's for sure. She was doing a good job at mixing it up in the zone, and obviously went to a pitch that's been getting called all game, and that hitters have been struggling with all game. Both of these teams have inside pitch power. That's where both teams' strengths are. So you always want to go back to that outside pitch in a game like this, because you know that more likely than not is going to work in your favor.
Just her 3rd strikeout and her first strikeout since inning number 2. Hasn't allowed a lot of base runners, a lot of ground balls today for Liz Engler.
Jackie Beal just has that ability to hit one of those little bleeders quite often, so Port's moved in to kind of protect the field from that, so we'll see what happens with the bat.
Yeah, you can see Zoe Thompson in left field is as in as she's been all game. Slashes one down the line.
That's Jackie's bread and butter there.
Well, if this game gets to extra innings, it would probably favor West Torrens in terms of the lineup, but getting there might be the challenge. A run would be helpful. That ball way out. Engler a strike away of getting out of the inning. And there it is. when her team needed it the most. Angler with back-to-back strikeouts, and Port Adelaide are a swing away from going to the prelim.
So this is a pretty big situation for Amber Pitfield to be coming into, and her very early years. Looks like they might be making a change.
I'm going to guess Zoe Thompson. She's shown some good signs, Amber Pitfield. She was 2 for 4 in her 2 last games of the year. Sort of hit her way late into the lineup, but again, she's an under-18s player. This is just her 4th game. She struck out twice today, and she's going against Steph Drzezinski. Zoe Thompson has some speed. It's a big assumption.
Yeah, that's Zoe.
So Zoe Thompson into Jess Golden into Chloe Davis. Thompson will also present a different look on that left side of the plate.
She's definitely got some speed to burn if she gets herself on.
Meanwhile, Steph Drzezinski was just stretching it out behind the circle. Regardless of what happens, what an effort from Steph Drzezinski today. The hobbled hamstring. She's got through 6 innings.
After not pitching a full game all season, coming in and doing what she's done tonight is absolutely amazing. It's so admirable, and it just shows the fight that she has.
It's almost like it's a game plan to be pitching with some adversity over the years.
You can see the tape there, the great shot. Those 26 ice baths over the last 3 weeks might have worked. There's a good advertisement for those. She gets the strike call. Looking for strikeout number 10 in a final. This is the elimination final. Winner advances to the preliminary final. Loser, their season is over. Swing and a miss, strikeout number 10. Gutsy. Now the real challenge begins, though. Jess Golden, 0 for 3 today. She popped out her last time up. I don't know when the last time I've seen Jess Golden go 0 for 4 in a game is. Math would say she's due. She's hit .508 on the season.
The thing is, though, all of those hits have been really hard hit balls, so I think her approach right here should be the exact same as it was the last 3 at-bats. One's bound to go through.
2 best and fairest going head-to-head. Golden stands fairly close to that plate, doesn't she?
I think she's ready for that outside pitch, the one that's been getting pitched all game.
Can they get the winning run on base? Well, she was going for a rip there. Three balls on Golden. And this is not the base runner you want on.
Definitely not. She's definitely a extra base.
Pop straight up in the air. Maddie Scott looking for it. And a coy smile. She found it. But they were flirting with danger.
It's out there for a very long time.
Chloe Davis.
With Torrens be looking to get Chloe Davis out so that when we go to a tiebreaker, it brings Bree up without any runners on base again.
That has been the case for Brie Marcelino. Every single one of her at-bats, there's been nobody aboard, although Brie Marcelino is the run for Port Adelaide. A leadoff walk in the 4th. The Triple Crown winner, you'd think would be one of, I know she's in the top 10. She's got to be top 5, you'd think, in the Kath Coral voting.
It's hard when you've got a lot of good players in the one team, so they're taking votes off of one another. So that might be their only hindrance to Bree's chances, is that, you know, Jess, well, both the Jesses taking some votes off of her.
One-two count. Swing and a miss. 11 strikeouts for Steph Trzynski. She's had to work hard. She'll have to work harder. This game is going to extra innings. It feels fitting in a season that's been full of ties. There was a 3-way tie at the top with 32 points. Why not have the elimination final be drawn after 7 as well?
So Jackie Beale will be the runner on second base unless they... No, they're not going to make a change. So Jackie's a very smart base runner, so that's always handy when you're last out. You're someone who's a heads-up runner.
And you have your 1, 2, 3 coming up to bat in Scott and Holt. I can't say Hood is due up because there is a scenario where she doesn't get an at-bat. She's not a guarantee. What if the runner gets out on second?
Oh, that's right. I've seen that happen before in a tiebreaker.
I've seen that happen before, too. So you can't say due up is Amber Hood, but Maddie Scott, we know for a certainty, will be up to bat.
Happened in a national under-19 final, and the person, I won't mention who it was thrown out at second base, being that runner. So, but SA still won the national championship that year. So
is that the one at West Beach?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a good year. What a game this has turned into. How the tiebreaker works is, well, we play normal softball, but each team will start with a runner at second base and no outs. The runner that starts at second is the runner that was last out. In this case, it was Jackie Beale, who was in the 9-hole. Maddie Scott just continues the batting order. This is her 4th time through. She lays down the bunt. It's picked up by Golden. That ball down the line, and she's out.
Oh, looked like she may have come off the base, so not sure whether they'll question it or not. It looks like Terry's going to go and ask the question.
Maddie Scott just staying there. That was a tough one. As a catcher, how do you decide whether to leave it or pick it up?
Well, right there, it looked like the ball was spinning out. I know that, like, as a well, as a catcher, you just have to figure out, is my arm strong enough to be able to get her at first? And if you can make the play, then go for it. But if it's starting to spin out, then I'd leave it.
Well, I think the replay shows it. That is unlucky from West Torrens. And now it's even luckier.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe it's not the moment that makes a difference, but softball's that game of luck, so you've just got to play with the luck you're given.
That was a great play from Jess Maslin to snag that before it lands foul, and then she was able to tag her out and keep the runner at third. That's a big-time defensive play from Maslin right after the replay showed she missed the tag. There probably should have been a runner on first and third and 1 out. Instead, Amber Hood has 2 outs to get to work. Don't forget, Brie Marcelino will lead things off for Port Adelaide, and she'll have a runner on second base. Engler trying to get through her 8th inning. She's allowed just 4 base runners. Amber Hood cracks one down the line, and it just cut foul.
The wind may have played a role in that one.
The wind's definitely picked up coming in towards the plate.
The elements of this game is one that also is tricky as a player. First you have to battle the sun, now you have to battle the cold and the wind. So it's been an interesting game.
Amber Hood up the middle. West Torrens take the lead. And the kid from Mount Gambier delivers in a big moment again. She's been on base 3 times today. That's a big RBI.
Now you've got Maddie Scott running for Amber.
Now Lana Kaesler has a crack.
So generally in tie breaks, you should at least score 1 run. So West Torrens has done that first part, and then you push for the next run. So that's what they're working towards now.
Yeah, how do you coach it? There's a big advantage, some would say, going first because you can put pressure on away. But in this case, if it stays 2-1, well, there's a few other coaching dynamics you can pull if you're Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it's really hard because if you don't get that run, then the pressure's on you in the field to make sure that you don't inadvertently give one up, because then game over. But then if you get the one, you put the pressure back on to
Kaesler over to Marcelino, down, scoops, fires, 1 run on the board. But Nat, from a coaching perspective, this opens a few things up. I know it's going to be Marcelino, so you'd think they just let her swing, but you could always have that equation is, do you just try to manufacture a runner somehow over to third and then have different ways to score the tie-in run or go-ahead run? Yeah,
I think you just got to really focus on scoring that run. So you should be able to score a runner from third with 1 out. So normally you would bunt. However, I've played against teams that instead of bunting, they just hit a triple over left field and, do the job that way and replace that runner at third and, game over. So it'll be an interesting coaching decision whether Ben decides to bunt, which is the normal rule that you would do no matter whoever is in the box. But with Brie, that's an extra base hitter who's coming up to the plate. So, do you just let her hit away?
Well, you have the 2 players with the most RBIs on the season coming up and due up for Port Adelaide. Brie Marcelino had 27. Jess Maslin had 23. That's good for 1 and equal 2 with Emily Price on the list. So it's probably the point in the lineup you'd want if you were Ben Lucas. Steph Trzynski has to pitch into inning number 8 all of a sudden.
I can't help but think what's going through her mind right now, because you walk into a game and you're like, okay, I can pitch 7 innings. Now she's pitching 8 innings, maybe 9. So, she's doing a good job at staying in the game. But I wonder what's going through her mind right now. Like, how badly is she hurting, or is she like adrenaline and painkillers are keeping her alive?
Or is she just thinking 3 outs?
Yeah.
Runner in scoring position. The Triple Crown leader. She lays down the bunt. Now she'll do her wheels, and she's going to get there safely. Ball throws away. This game is tied, and Marcelino is in scoring position.
There's a bit of confusion there between Steph and Amber as to who is going to pick up the ball. And then you've got the added speed of Brie to really push you on that play.
Well, someone on a broadcast called it earlier with Brie Marcelino. When she's up to bat, there is no room for indecision.
So they've intentionally walked Jess, which gives them the force out at third, but also the only runner that they care about now is Brie getting across the plate. So that's really smart by West Torrens. Firstly, to give them a force situation, but also Jess could very easily put one over without, too much trouble. So it's now brings up Charlize to then do the job.
Well, with no outs on the board, the School of Linda Martin says bunt and put those runners into scoring position. And yeah, you're right, Nat, because Jess Maslin, her as a runner, it doesn't matter in terms of the score. I mean, you get that runner at second across, the game ends. What happens behind doesn't matter. But she could be a handy out at second. The bunt is laid down by Charlize Callahan. They make the play, and that's a big adjustment, and there's the winning run! Port Adelaide! Use some base running!
I think they might be looking at an obstruction call here at first base, because once Emma Burridge took the ball, I think they're going to ask whether then the runner had impeded the fielder to make that play at home. But that was great base running by Brie Marcelino to really push that run, because they've got a spare runner behind. So
the play we need to watch is at first base. Nat, walk us through us.
So she's taken the ball, and then the runner has impeded the player from actually making the next out. So that should really be a dead ball in that situation. So it'll be interesting to see what they say.
Courtney?
Yeah, I agree. It should be a dead ball for sure.
Yeah, also,
she had back.
She had come across the base because that's where the throw had taken her, but she should still be going through the orange base in that situation. Because that's why it's there. It's the safety base to stop that collision from happening.
It's a big call to make. It's not in the bylaws, but you do wish you could just show the screen and make the job a little bit easier.
I did once umpire an under 10 game, and a parent came and showed me that I'd got the call wrong with their phone, and I just said, oh look, it's under 10s, but you don't take a video replay.
The players are discussing it. They don't have the benefit of the replay we saw, but this is literally a decision that decides a season. If it is called safe, West Torrens are done. Hope lives on if called out. Game over. Wow. But Brie Marcelino makes some magic on the base pass, lays down a bunt, hustles out a single, drives in the run, and then steals home to win the game for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think this will be the play that everyone will be talking about after the end of the game. But well done to both teams. It was a well-fought game for 8 innings. So
who do we think? We go Engler, Marcelino, both of them?
You know what? I would vote for Marcelino because that was a game-changing event that just happened there. So that would be my vote. How about you?
I'm going with a pitcher.
We'll go with both of them. How about we bring them both in?
I think that's great.
I'll go out there now. All right, we're down here on the field with co-players of the game, so we're going to give you 3 prizes. You're going to have to figure out how to sort this out. Let's start with the pitching side of things today, Liz. It was an incredible effort. You only allowed 4 base runners off your own back. I know you had the inherited one late. How did you feel in this game today, knowing it was a bit of a tricky end to the season for you?
Yes. Oh, I was just so pumped up the whole game. You know, we were out there and, you know, just getting our mind right the whole time, and I think that's what really led me into it. And my defense was so great today, and it's just like we were fired up, so fired up today. So.
Bree, does this game have a little extra juice knowing it's against a team that you've played 3 straight years in a grand final?
Oh, absolutely. We came ready for this game. We knew it was going to be tough, but we trusted all the work that we've been putting in this whole season and the energy that we give off the whole game, and it came through for us.
I want to get some insight here on the magic from Marcelino in that final inning there. Obviously, you come up, you lay down the bunt, you hustle out the single, you get to second, and you steal home. What are you even thinking in those situations? Can you walk me through what you're looking for?
I'm just looking for any faults in the fielders to just go. I know my reads are really good, and I trust that a lot, so I'm just looking for any little miscues that the defense has and taking advantage of it.
Emotionally for you guys, obviously it was a big one. You said you were fired up before the game, so where do those emotions sit right now, especially having to wait a couple minutes to even know the result of the game?
Oh, I'm excited. I honestly don't even have words right now. So it was awesome. I don't even. Yeah. So sorry. Oh my God, I'm fired up.
I like it a lot. Well, we live to see another day. Port Adelaide are through to the preliminary final. They will play the loser of Seacombe and Walkerville. That game's coming up. But Bree, Liz, congratulations. That was an epic game and another close tussle with West Torrens.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
We'll send it back to the booth, and I'll hustle over there as well.
Well, we certainly knew that this game was going to end in a big moment, but I'm not sure any of us could have guessed that it would have ended like this.
No, I think you're probably thinking someone hits it to the fence or, you know, some kind of, you know, other move that might have happened. But it's a game of inches, and so things, you know, can happen. Anything can happen when you put the ball into play.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's a good lesson from this game. Anything can happen when you put the ball into play, and some heads-up base running. That was an interesting comment from Bree Marcelino, just looking for fault in the defense.
Yep. Yeah, it absolutely was. And at the end of the day, this game came down to like defense, like how the defense fielded the ball, and I think that like Bree said, she did a great job at taking extra reads, and like I said before the game, this team does a great job at taking extra bases, and that's exactly what they did in that last inning, which ended up working in their favor.
Well, we'll wrap up this game with a 3-2 win in extra innings for the Magpies. The reign of the Eagles comes to an end. There will be a new champion. But quickly to wrap things up, Court, you do run online coaching and catching sessions. Catching with Court is where you can look up that information. Is that correct?
Yep.
C-O-R-T?
Yep, C-O-R-T. Yep, that's where you can find me if you're a catcher who's interested in advancing your skills. Feel free to send me a message, and I would love to see if we would be a good match and if I can help you get better.
Courtney Hoganson, thank you very much for your insight throughout the game. And Nat Brinkworth, after 7 years of coaching the top team at Glenelg, you decided to take a step back next year. I just want to say thank you very much for all of your contributions to Glenelg and everybody around there. I'm sure it's a bittersweet feeling as well for you, but thank you very much for all that you've done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a really hard decision, but sometimes you've just got to make decisions that are right for you and the family, and I think it'd be really good for Glenelg to get a new voice and someone that can take them that next step. So I'm going to miss the girls a lot, so but I hope I'll be watching.
Don't worry, we'll see Nat Brinkworth every Saturday still down at the ballpark, I am sure, and maybe even jump on some commentary a little bit at times
maybe.
too. So thank you very much, Nat. Thank you very much, Court. Well, I'm going to go get reset for the next final. We have in about 20 minutes time right now. Thank you all for tuning in from Mount Gambier and beyond. My name's Eric Ballner, joined by Courtney Hokinson, Nat Brinkworth, and everybody at Spacequake Sports. We'll see you in 20.